Snow, silence, solitude. Far from Rome, far from betrayal, Kael now walks a path written not in ink, but in frost and blood. This is not a tale of marble halls or political games. This is survival. A journey into the unknown lands of the North, where fate has a different name. Welcome to the 6th chapter in the saga of Kael. The Lost Chapters proudly presents Frost and Flame, the Barbarian Years. The mountains tore at him. Cold winds sliced through Kael's torn cloak, as if the gods themselves were punishing him for surviving. Each breath was a dagger, each step heavier than the last. Wounded and hunted, he had fled the Roman camp days ago, with no food, no fire, no direction. Only vengeance kept him alive. Vengeance, and something else. He stumbled through deep snow, his fingers numb, his lips blue. The blood from his shoulder wound had frozen to his tunic, crusted black against the white storm. He remembered Scarpus's face, the man who murdered his father and stole his title. Kael had been so close, one thrust away, but now, hunted like a beast, his revenge seemed a dream swallowed by snow. The cold was not just outside. It gnawed at Kael's bones like a beast, unrelenting. His hands, bloodied from clawing through snow and ice, trembled with each breath. Hunger twisted his gut, but worse was the silence. Days passed, or had it been weeks? The sun was a pale ghost in a sky of steel. Each sunrise promised death. He had built a crude shelter beneath a fallen pine. Snow caked his hair. His sword had grown dull, his muscles weaker. Once a Roman soldier, now reduced to a feral soul, crawling like an animal through the wilderness. He had tried to trap rabbits, failed. Once he gnawed on tree bark, vomiting it shortly after. But the worst trial was not physical. It was memory. Visions of his daughter, unborn, unknown. Visions of his father, smiling, dead. The betrayal, it repeated in his mind like a curse. The face of Gaius alias Scarpus haunted him in every flake of snow. One night, the silence shattered. A growl echoed through the forest. From the darkness emerged a shape, massive, terrible. A bear, starved like him. Their eyes locked. Neither had anything left to lose. Kael stood, barely able to hold his sword. The bear roared. He screamed back. The clash was brutal. Steel sliced fur. Claws tore flesh. Snow turned crimson. The beast pinned him, jaws snapping inches from his throat. Kael thrust the blade once, twice, until its roar became a gurgle. The bear collapsed, but Kael was broken. His chest bled. His breath came in rattles. He stumbled forward, collapsed face first into the snow, and everything faded. Warmth. Kael didn't believe it at first. Not the imagined warmth of hallucination. Real fire. Real softness. He opened his eyes slowly. A hut, wooden walls, furs wrapped around him. A girl sat beside him, young, hair the color of wheat, braided with beads. Her eyes, like the frozen river and sunlight, watched him, not with fear, but curiosity. "You breathe," she whispered, her accent thick but words clear. Kael tried to speak, but his throat gave only a rasp. "You fight bear, you not die." Her name was Leora, daughter of the tribe's healer. It was she who had found him, half dead near the carcass of the bear. She had screamed for help. Her brothers carried him home. For days, Kael lay still. Fever gripped him. But Leora stayed. She fed him broth, pressed herbs to his wounds. When he awoke at night gasping, she would calm him. The tribe, wary at first, watched him from afar. Romans were no friends to the clans. But Leora argued, "He fought the bear, alone. He is broken, like us." In time, the elder spoke. Kael could stay the winter. He hobbled outside one day, still weak. Children ran from him. Leora laughed. "You look like tree, tall, broken, but still strong." Kael smiled, the first smile in months. The snow continued to fall, but within those huts, among foreign voices and strange customs, Kael felt peace. And in the quiet, as Leora touched his healing scars, he felt something he had never expected again. The slow, cautious bloom of love. Kael began to walk again, not for revenge, not for glory, but to find fire in this frozen world. Days turned into weeks. He hunted, tracked wild goats, and once, in desperation, stole dried fish from a hunter's hut. His Roman cunning helped, but his body weakened. A snowstorm nearly took his life, and perhaps it would have had she not found him. A girl, young, but with the confidence of one who had lived through storms. Her fur cloak shimmered with frost. Her name was Leora, and she was of the Kaltari, a secluded northern tribe that shunned both Rome and other barbarians. They had watched Kael from afar. They knew he was no simple wanderer. She brought him to her village, deep within the woods, hidden from roads and legions. Old men grumbled. Warriors eyed him warily, but Leora defended him. Kael barely spoke their tongue, but gestures and glances were enough. The tribe allowed him to stay. He recovered slowly, his wounds mended by herbal mixtures and hot stones. The chieftain, Aldrich, watched him carefully. "You bring Roman blood," the old man said, "but I see pain where there should be pride." Kael began helping, repairing tools, chopping wood, sparring with the younger warriors. In time, they respected him. He taught them discipline. They taught him how to listen to the wind. And Leora, she listened to him when Kael spoke of betrayal, of his father, of the man he had almost slain. Her eyes did not judge, only burned with shared fire. Winter faded. Snow turned to grass. The village came alive with color, and Kael's wounds healed slowly under Leora's care. She taught him the tongue of her people. He told her stories of Rome, though rarely with praise. In return, she showed him her world, the meaning of the winds, the songs of birds, the hunt, the fire dances at night. Leora laughed without fear. She looked at the stars like they were familiar. For the first time since his father's murder, Kael laughed too. Seasons passed. She braided her hair differently. He carved wood into strange shapes. The other villagers stopped scowling. He taught the children sword drills. Leora taught him to sing. And then, one summer night, under the twin moons, Kael kissed her, and she kissed her back. They built a small home near the edge of the forest. Years passed. A daughter was born. Dark eyes, wild hair. Kael named her Felicia, after his father, Felix. In that moment, under the stars, Kael believed he could stay, that vengeance could be buried under snow and laughter. But the past, like Rome, always marches forward. In the stillness of the forest, Kael and Leora became more than outcasts. They became each other's home. Seasons passed. Kael's sword grew dull, but his hands became skilled in the ways of the Kaltari, building, healing, surviving. The war within him quieted. He hunted not for war, but for warmth. And Leora, with her fierce spirit and quiet laughter, gave him reason to remain. He told stories of Rome, not of emperors and battles, but of rivers, gardens, and his mother's voice. Leora watched, always silent during those tales, as if fearing that Rome might still reach across the mountains and take him away. Yet Kael had buried his vengeance, or so he thought, until the winter of the third year. A horn echoed through the valley, not a Kaltari horn, not a wild tribe signal. It was Roman, a patrol. Kael froze. He stepped outside, past the snow-draped trees. In the distance, the flash of iron, the echo of Latin voices. One voice stood out, clear, familiar, a friend, Marcus. A hunter returned with news. Roman scouts were nearby. The village buzzed with anxiety. The chief ordered quiet, no contact. But Kael knew they would come. Rome always does. When they did, it was not a raid, not yet. A small unit, 5 men. One carried the Eagle standard, but one Kael recognized from afar. Marcus, his old friend from the Legion. And beside him, older, limping but alive, Quintius Marcellus, the man who had revealed the truth about Felix's murder. They had come for him. Marcus entered alone. The villagers watched from a distance, ready to defend, but Kael stepped forward. Father now, husband, not the same man. Kael, he whispered, Rome needs you. It's not over.
Scarpus is more powerful than ever. He's no longer a centurion. He's in the Senate. The name hit Kael like thunder. Marcus continued. A storm is coming. You can't hide forever. Kael looked to the trees, to his daughter playing near the fire, to Leora holding her. Could he risk it all? Could he stay while Rome burned others? Or was the fire inside him always meant to rise?
Epic and emotional, like the beginning of a great journey. That night, Kael walked alone to the sacred cliff, overlooking the world below. He carried his father's sword. He wore furs now, not armor, but inside he was still a warrior. Leora came to him quietly. "You are leaving," she said, no question in her voice. "I must," he answered. "He killed my father, lied to the Empire, built power on the bones of the loyal, and now he wears a senator's robe." "And what of Felicia?" she asked. He looked down. "She will know that her father stood for something." Leora held his face. "Then go, but remember, love is not weakness. It's why you will win." At dawn, Kael stood at the village's edge. Marcus handed him a cloak. Quintus bowed his head. They would not travel back to the Legion. Not yet. First, they would gather allies. In the shadows of the Empire, among gladiators, merchants, and forgotten outcasts, the road back to Rome would be long, bloody. But Kael had returned, and vengeance had not frozen, it had only slept.
From the edge of death to the fire of vengeance, Kael's journey has only begun. What lies ahead? Alliances, betrayals, blood. In the next chapter, the shadows of Rome will tremble. Subscribe now, so you don't miss what comes next. The Lost Chapters, where forgotten tales return to life.